What a way to start a new week. Wild swings in the market. Obviously, everybody's talking about oil. Everybody's talking about gold. So what are we going to do? We're going to talk about uranium because that is where the real action was happening. Monster news in the uranium sector. Big moves in the uranium stocks. Let's get right into it. Welcome to Hot Trades of the Day, your show for swing trading ideas for the coming days, weeks, and month. Hi, my name is Daniel Helmy. Welcome to our channel here at Hot Trades of the Day. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. You may like what you're gonna see. Video like today, where everybody in the market is talking about oil and gold. But we're gonna talk about the real interesting parts in the market that not a lot of people are talking about, because that's how you make money. So, oil chart real quick. We're gonna run through oil, gold, silver real quick to get to uranium, because that is where we want to be. Big jump, and then we sold off. As you can see, we hit this monster resistance zone now. And the sell-off is quite interesting because we closed below 72, which was kind of my price target for this up move. Obviously, we're going to overshoot when something like the Iran war happens. But we sold back off to it, and the selling pressure is interesting. I've told you before, the reason why I don't like the oil price is because it is clearly a geopolitical weapon against Russia. And that means if I bet on oil going up, I'm betting against the government. I'm betting against any type of surprise announcement that they may release some of the reserves. There's definitely going to be things going on behind the scenes now, trying to push the oil price back down and try and stabilize oil production. I don't want to be on that side of the market. I want to be on the other side where the easy trades are. So one easy trade obviously was gold, but gold in itself wasn't so interesting. Now, we were not able to hold the gains fully. That's interesting. And very clearly now we have a new resistance zone. By the way, this is now support right here. So that is our new target zone, okay? Our new target zone now for gold is about 5,465.70. We close there or higher. It's all about load the boat. Whoop whoop. Until then, we'll see. I still am very bullish on gold, but the really interesting part is not gold alone, but gold compared to silver. So while gold was up about 1%, silver was actually down close to 5%. And there's a market technical reason for it. You can see it right here. This is the old resistance zone. I had this in place for basically since the middle of January. And as you can see, we doinked right into it and sold off to it. Now, nothing has really happened, right? We're still above this orange line, which is the upper end of the sideways channel. We're still above the 50. Everything is okay. But this weakness of silver completely not only detaching from gold, but selling off hard in an overall market that was actually doing well after the initial panic selling, that tells us something. And I can tell you from the PDAC here, from the PDAC in Toronto, and I was so busy today with meetings, I was barely at the convention itself. And if you know that the real meetings are happening in the hotels around the PDAC, and that's where the real action is. The floor is fine, and I always like to see the floor, but the real action is in the meetings outside of the PDAC, what's happening around it. I'm hearing a really interesting fundamental narrative around silver that I need to do a deeper dive into. But if that checks out, then this could be the beginning of a decoupling where silver might not really go anywhere for a while gold will probably be trending up. That could give us some really good investment opportunities in the silver price and in the silver miners down the road. But let's get to the real action. And the real action was uranium. Look at the URA. This is, I need to move this out now. This is what I gave you guys as a setup on the last uranium video. And here we shot the video, and if anybody was interested in uranium, there were some really nice entry points to be had in the past days, and now this green arrow that I pointed out seems to be checking out because we closed above this resistance line, the orange line right here, and we are off to the races. Sprott Physical Uranium looks great too, right? We are fighting with the 50, but this old resistance, now support zone, holding up well, looks interesting too. What's going on in uranium? So there was a monster announcement that came pretty much out of the blue because the uranium miners were down in early trading. But this story is serious. Cameco, the biggest Western uranium producer, made a deal with India with an overall value of 1.9 billion US dollars. That's a lot. Cameco is going to supply almost 22 million pounds of uranium core concentrate over the next 9 years. So that comes up to about 12% of the annual output of Cameco. This is a monster deal. And this has serious ripple effects. The first one, the most obvious one, is it shows the growing demand for uranium, the boom of nuclear energy. I believe personally this is probably part of the deal that the US and India struck about India not buying Russian oil anymore. Now, Cameco is a Canadian company, but there are bigger forces at work here in this new Cold War. India right now operating 24 nuclear reactors, and they want to add dozens more over the next 20 years. Basically, the following is the only number you need to know. They want to increase, India that is, India wants to increase electricity capacity from currently 8 gigawatt from nuclear energy to 100 gigawatt. That is 12x, a little more. That shows you the power of the uranium market and what is really going on in uranium, and that this trend, the data centers, and I told you this before in the last uranium videos, the data centers, that's just bonus. All these people who are freaking out, who are selling their uranium, so good, oh, the AI data centers, ooh, it's a bubble. It's true that it is partially a bubble, but the real story, the fundamental demand for nuclear energy, especially in the emerging markets, is gigantic. In the US, it's gigantic. The production, guess what? It's not. So that is what makes it interesting. And here's the next ripple effect of the Cameco deal. Now, if 12% of the yearly production goes to India, well, guess where it's not going? The good old US of A. And that led to a major jump in the uranium producers and the developers that are close to production in the US and Canada, because obviously now the uranium that they have, that they will produce in the future, becomes even more valuable because a lot of the production from Cameco, 12% a year, is going to India. And we see this right now, right? Energy Fuels, monster today, up 9%. One of my favorite, Denison Mines. Oh, this looks so good. Let me move this out here. By the way, this needs to be blue. It's support now. Here we go. Look how great this chart look. Closed even higher than this close in January. I was talking about this stock. I'm not your financial advisor. I just give you ideas, right? What I like in the charts. And I gave you this one on the breakout, and now it's breaking out. NextGen Energy. I mean, look at it. It looks fantastic. And you had great opportunities if you want to get in on the uranium trade to buy it here. And now you're laughing all the way to the bank. UEC, which I wanted to talk to today, but I didn't have the time, at PDAC. And oh, by the way, Shout out to Andrew from Texas, who was super nice. Came over, said hello. We talked for a couple of minutes. And then I had to run. Was super nice. He wanted to have a picture with me. I don't know why. I mean, look at me. Come on, Andrew. Get a picture with an attractive Latino musician, not with some old German guy. But we talked about he's in on the Petrobras trade. Great job. Congratulations on the profits. But he's doing something really, really smart with the way that he invests. And I'm going to use that in a future video to talk about this. And I can guarantee you already that video probably not going to get a lot of views, because it's not the next two mining stocks that are going to go to the moon. But that's a video that you really, really should see, because he does something right that a lot of the retail investors do wrong. And we'll get into it in a couple of days. So this is on the agenda. Andrew, very nice to meet you. Now, what are we doing with the uranium stocks? Again, there are still stocks to buy. UC is one of them, for sure. I also like ISO Energy. God, that looks so good. Look at this chart. I mean, every person that has software stocks in their portfolio, they're just rubbing their eyes and says that can't be possible. Yeah, it is. You just need to be in the right sectors. And we hear it with the hot trades of the day. We talked about uranium in the last week. So don't tell me you didn't know about the uranium story. Did I know about the Cameco deal? Absolutely not. But the charts don't lie. The charts show the movement sometimes ahead of time. There'll always be some surprises, for sure. But oftentimes the buying, because some people always know more, starts earlier, and you can see it in the charts. I still think this uranium run has a lot of power. This was the type of news that the market needed to wake up the retail investors. Now there's a real possibility that we're going to see something coming out of the White House. I don't know. I have no facts or anything like that, but we have that in our back as well as a bonus. We have great technicals. We have the breakthrough fundamental news that we want, that's going to get people excited about uranium stocks now moving forward. And again, it's going to take the market a hot second to make that connection that this Cameco deal really is great for the Made in America story. Because now the uranium that Denison mines have, that UEC has, that Energy Fuels has, that NextGen Energy has. Oh man, I'm in love with this chart. Their uranium just becomes even more valuable. So we want to be long here. I gave you a couple of stocks that look really interesting. Look out. NextGen Energy looks great. Denison Mines. If you're interested in uranium, and I don't know why you wouldn't be, then that is a really interesting sector to be in. It looks really good, while a lot of other sectors don't look that great right now. So that's it. I gotta run. I gotta go and change. Now it's time for like the after convention type of events, where you mingle a little bit and over a beer, have some talks and make some connections. So we'll talk tomorrow. Then we'll probably talk from the PDAC. And have a great day. Man, I know it was a rough weekend for a lot of people. I ran into a big demonstration yesterday of Iranians here in Toronto, and they were delighted, obviously. So, man, there's some everybody just looks at the war and all the terrible things, but I saw a lot of Iranians that were full of hope. And that was really nice to see. Have a great day. We'll speak tomorrow. Bye-bye.